Cohen at 3 o'clock. Alan, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you, Blaine.
And you're a little bit different. And what I mean by that is those that are running that have not served are coming on and telling us a little bit about why they want to get elected. We're going to get into with you what you feel you've accomplished and why you want to get reelected. But before we do, tell us a little bit about who Alan Imhoff is, and it can be personally, professionally, or both.
All right, because there have been a few folks that have come into Frederick City since I was elected.
Absolutely.
62 years of age. Spent 32 and a half years with AT&T, retired 11 years ago. Most of that was in management. And I've been doing community service in Frederick County for probably 25 years, even though I lived in Carroll County before coming here 25 years ago. And it's just been a way of life for me. I volunteer, and when I do volunteer, I put 100% in.
All right, and you're running for re-election. And Anita and Frank, feel free if you want to jump in, but you're running for re-election. Let's start out with you. Like I said, you're a little bit different than the other candidates. We'll talk to Alderman Smith, Kazumchek, and who am I missing? Kuntz. All four of you all have filed your papers for re-election.
Correct.
What do you feel that you've accomplished that deserves you to be reelected?
Well, I have a 50% batting average on reducing the property tax rate. I tried for 4 cents in the first year, and nobody could understand how we could do it. But the next 2 years, we were able to get 2 cents off the property tax rate. While in and of itself, it's not a lot. It was a start, and that's what I hope to continue for the next 4 years, is one of those things. So I feel pretty good about that. Having been in management and done a number of things within the county that required me to look at capital budgets, I feel very good about where we've gotten the capital budget into much better shape to understand, and more importantly, that we're now on track to borrow the kind of money that we need to borrow in time to get our projects started and completed in a reasonable fashion.
Go ahead.
Well, not its accomplishments. Well, one of the accomplishments is that you all purchased the Hargett Farm for a regional park, which I think is just something that you really should be proud of. Do you have a vision for what you think the park should look like, or is it just in the planning stage and we need to move forward? Or
well, it's in the planning stage. I have some visions that could be incorporated into the park. It needs to be a park that's a very active use park. We need fields for all types of sports right now. We could probably use some indoor sports facilities, but we also have the opportunity to make it a passive park in areas as well, so that we can go to a place and relax, like a Baker Park, but instead of lawn, it's square.
Well, because there's a lot of wetlands and all there that you don't have to be passive.
Right.
Let's get into a little bit about the buyout. The buyout, you've heard a lot of candidates kicking it around, to the point where I'm sick of it. I think Anita is,
That's
too.
why I'm surprised you even bought it up.
Well,
me too.
But you voted for it?
I voted for it. I'd vote for it again. Now, would I vote for it the same way? No.
Okay.
As was evident during my questioning in the very early stages, why did we have to go for 2 years? Why was it a cash buyout? Because I was a beneficiary of an early retirement at AT&T. But we didn't get any cash ahead of time, and what we did get was extra money in our retirement pay.
Well, you're one of the people who normally question everything.
Yes.
And at that point in time, you didn't question to the depth that I feel that you normally do. Was that because, and I've said this, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's because so many people trust what John Angel says and took it pretty much as gospel.
Mm-hmm. In the first 2 meetings in April, yes, I did do a fair amount of questioning. What happened was there was a couple of times where I've missed certain meetings, but at the last meeting where I was questioning, John was saying, well, we need to get the specific numbers. Once we get all the number of people who are going to retire, we can actually get the financial numbers back. And so I believe all of us sort of said, okay, if that's the case, then we can wait. And unfortunately was out of town a little bit during April and May, and timing was just not good for me for continuing what I normally would do.
But overall, in your opinion, the buyout was a good thing. You'd vote for it again?
Yes, without a doubt. I even said in one of the early meetings that if we saved any money, I would consider that a bonus.
Right now, aren't you saving about $1.5 million this year?
We saved, I think it was almost close to $1.3 million in the year just passed. We got to wait for the audit to come back, but that's probably very close, just in salaries alone.
All right, what about some of the other projects that you all have going on, like East Street Extension, new gateway to the city, Roxy Boulevard, infrastructure?
One of the things this administration focused on was getting the road projects to where they can be completed, whether it's East Street, whether it's Monocacy Boulevard, whether it's Christopher's Crossing. We have spent a lot of time and money. In addition to the Hargett Farm, we also bought 2 other farms for road right-of-way for some of these roads. So we've invested a lot to get the roads ready for the future. Will it be done tomorrow? No. Will it be done within 5 years? I sincerely hope so.
Well, what about annexations? I know that the commissioners are having this discussion amongst themselves about whether they're going to grant the inconsistency or whatever they say nowadays. With they're talking specifically so far about the northern annexations. Of course, I live on this end of town, as you know, and I'm concerned about the Summers annexation.
Right.
I don't care if the city annexes, and I always tell the city officials to annex. But may I remind you that Mount Phillip Road and Butterfly Lane and parts of Route 40 are the very same road that's been there forever.
Right.
And you can't continue to put more houses on there and leave the same stupid old road.
And that's part of what we've been doing is preparing for the annexations with the roads. Butterfly. One of the reasons for buying Hargett Farm is so that we could redirect Butterfly Lane to where it comes into Maryland 180 and make it a little bit safer.
But now that you've bought the farm, I understand Swallowtail Road's not going to go through now to connect to 180.
Well, Swallowtail Road was for the houses that exist on Emerald Farm, and they would be going east through the Hargett Farm. Swallowtail Road may. I mean, we haven't finished any design.
I understand.
Swallowtail Road may come into the Hargett Farm and hit Butterfly Lane somewhere within the property. But originally it was Swallowtail was designed to go all the way through Hargett,
correct,
directly to 180
and connect to First Missionary Baptist Church.
Now we've decided that it's much better to take Butterfly Lane and turn it to the south and come through Hargett and come out on 180.
Okay. Before we go to break, does the city have a responsibility? The county is saying that your APFO is not strong enough when it comes to schools. Does the city have a responsibility to factor in schools with these annexations?
Oh yes. I mean, we passed the APFO. The county doesn't like what we had because it doesn't match theirs. It's a little bit different. We've tried to bring a little bit more, I don't know how you want to put it, onus on getting the things done the way they're supposed to be done. We can't control the public school system, and they can redistrict anytime they want.
Neither can the county.
And neither can the county. And that's one of the biggest problems that we have is we assume certain things are going to happen over a period of time, and then because of redistricting or something else, it doesn't happen, and all of a sudden you're in a losing position. What we were trying to do, and I believe that my peers were looking at it the same way, is, all right, we're telling the school system up front for the annexation that during this time frame this is what's going to happen, and that we anticipate a certain growth pattern to occur. And usually what we had done in the past before APFO is we worked with the system to say, okay, only 60 units a year or 30 units a year or whatever. So there's some predictability there, and they can go ahead with their plans to get the schools built.
But I think the county's argument is that you're not coughing up any money for the schools.
Yes, we are. We pay county taxes.
Well, but you're not making
and we have impact fees as well. So,
and the developer does have to cough up the site.
And the developers have to cough up sites, but I've seen developers cough out sites, and then the school board come back 10 years later and say, "Oh, we don't need it," or "It's too small."
That's correct.
So how do you say?
And let me say something.
Predictability. Predictability is what we're talking about here.
Before that site's accepted, Ray Barnes signs off on it.
Oh yeah,
in today's terms.
In today's terms. But then 10 years from now,
that's right. But still, I mean, they have to sign off that it's an acceptable site.
Correct.
Let's take a quick break. I want to thank the Frederick Air, Bryant Man, Steve Schmidt.